Your plan for your best day is destroying your progress on your worst. Most people think the key to achievement is a relentless high-intensity push. They are mistaken. This is a debate with no easy answer, where brilliant disciplined people fundamentally disagree. Both sides have a point, and the consequences of choosing wrong can be immense. Where do you stand? By the end of this, your position might feel a lot less stable. The case for minimum viable effort is simple. It's an emergency protocol. It's the fire extinguisher for when your ambition is burning down. On a day when everything has gone wrong, you're sick, you're exhausted, a personal crisis has landed. The original plan is impossible. The goal of running 5 miles becomes a fantasy. The goal of writing 2,000 words feels like a cruel joke. At this moment, you have a choice. You can declare a 0 day, do nothing, and break the chain of momentum. Or you can execute the minimum viable effort. You put on your running shoes and walk to the end of the driveway and back. You open the document and write one single sentence. That's it. The advocates of this strategy argue its power is rooted in the physics of the mind. An object at rest stays at rest. An object in motion stays in motion. The hardest part of any task is starting. A 0 day creates a state of pure rest. Inertia. The next day you have to overcome the friction of starting from a dead stop, compounded by the psychological weight of yesterday's failure. It's a double penalty. A minimum viable effort, even a laughably small one, keeps the flywheel turning. Barely, but it turns. The identity is preserved. You went to bed as a person who exercises, or a person who writes. You maintain the continuity of self. This psychological win, they argue, is vastly more important than the physical output. It's an investment in tomorrow's motivation. It lowers the activation energy required to get back to 100% when you're able. That sounds convincing. But there is a flaw in the logic, a dangerous one. What happens when the emergency protocol becomes your default operating system? Critics of minimum viable effort see it as a seductive trap, a form of sophisticated self-deception. They argue that by celebrating microscopic actions, you are training your brain to be satisfied with trivial output. You are lowering your standards under the guise of psychological cleverness. The man who intended to run 5 miles but only walked to his mailbox may feel a small victory. But did he actually make progress toward his fitness goals? The writer who produces one sentence may have avoided a 0, but a novel written 1 sentence a day will take over 2,000 years to complete. The fear is that the minimum viable effort creates a feedback loop of mediocrity. You do a tiny bit, you feel good for showing up. Your brain registers the reward without the corresponding effort. The bar for what constitutes a win gets lower and lower. Imagine a company that only ever builds minimum viable products. It ships a buggy, feature-light version of its software, gets a flicker of user interest, and then moves on to the next MVP. It never does the hard work of building a robust, excellent product. It lives in a state of permanent potential, never achieving mastery. The business slowly starves. Is your personal progress any different? The critics would say no. They argue that this approach systematically teaches you to shrink from resistance. Progress requires pushing against boundaries. It demands discomfort. Minimum viable effort is the art of avoiding that discomfort entirely while still telling yourself you're on the path. It's the quietest way to give up. And yet, this critique has its own blind spot. It presumes that the alternative to minimum effort is maximum effort. But on your worst days, the true alternative is often complete system collapse. The defenders of the minimum viable effort would counter that its critics are living in a theoretical world of perfect energy and motivation. They are comparing a 1% effort to a 100% effort. The real comparison is between 1% and negative 10%. A 0 day is more than just a missed workout. It can trigger a spiral. The guilt and inertia from day 1 make day 2 harder. Failure on day 2 deepens the funk. Soon you're in a hole that takes a week of immense willpower to climb out of. You've gone backward. A minimum viable effort, by contrast, stops the bleeding. It's a form of psychological first aid. It keeps your head above water. The core of this argument is about identity. Behavioral science suggests our actions shape our beliefs about ourselves. Every time you perform an action, you cast a vote for the type of person you want to be. When you do 50 push-ups, you cast a strong vote for "I am a fit person." When you do nothing, You cast a vote for I am not, but when you are sick, exhausted and can only manage one painful push-up, you still cast a vote for I am a fit person. The tally is what matters. The goal of the minimum viable effort is to ensure you never go a day without casting at least one vote for your desired identity. It's about maintaining the thread of who you are, even when your capacity is near zero. The output is a footnote. The vote is the headline. It reinforces the belief that even at your worst, you are still in the game. You are still the kind of person who shows up. That's a powerful idea. But an identity built on a foundation of gestures can become incredibly fragile. What happens when even the minimum feels like too much? This leads to the deepest critique of the entire concept. The need for minimum viable effort isn't a sign of a clever strategy. It is a symptom of a catastrophic failure in planning and recovery. It's an alarm bell you are choosing to mute. The person who consistently finds themselves needing to negotiate down to one push-up or one sentence has a fundamental problem. Their life, their work, their training is structured in an unsustainable way. They are redlining the engine, and instead of pulling over, they are trying to figure out how to coast a few more feet with the engine off. Minimum viable effort, in this view, is a coping mechanism that enables a broken system. It allows you to continue living a life that is burning you out, because you have a little trick to feel productive even as your overall capacity diminishes. Think of it this way: if your roof is leaking, you can put a bucket under the drip. The bucket is the minimum viable effort. It contains the immediate problem. It prevents water damage on the floor. It works. You could even get very good at managing buckets, but the roof is still leaking. The real solution is to get up on the roof and fix the hole. In this analogy, fixing the roof is true rest. It's genuine recovery. It's redesigning your schedule, saying no to commitments, sleeping more, and addressing the root cause of your exhaustion. The bucket strategy allows you to ignore the roof. It makes the leak manageable, so you never have to do the hard essential work of repair. And over time, the hole gets bigger. The proponents of this view would argue that embracing the 0 day is actually more courageous. A 0 day is data. It's your body and mind telling you, in the clearest possible terms, that the current pace is breaking you. It forces you to confront the leak. This creates the core tension of the entire debate. One side sees the human mind as a machine governed by momentum, where breaking the chain is the ultimate sin. For them, continuity is everything. The other side sees the human mind as a biological organism, governed by cycles of stress and recovery, where ignoring the need for rest is the ultimate sin. For them, sustainability is everything. One is the logic of an engineer. The other is the logic of a gardener. The engineer wants the machine running at all times, even if it's just idling. The gardener knows that some seasons require leaving the soil fallow to let it recover its nutrients for the next planting. Both are trying to achieve growth. Their methods are diametrically opposed. Who is right? Perhaps the question is framed incorrectly. Maybe minimum viable effort isn't a philosophy for life, but a specific tool for a specific job. It's the tourniquet you apply to stop a catastrophic bleed. You use it to save a life in a moment of crisis. But you would never walk around with a tourniquet on your arm every day. That would cause a limb to die. The danger comes from confusing the emergency tool with a daily practice. It's a bridge to get you from a state of crisis back to a state of health. It is not the destination itself. The real art might be knowing when you need the tourniquet and when you need to be rushed to the hospital for major surgery. One keeps you in the game. The other changes the game entirely. So where is your line? When you're facing that wall of exhaustion, is minimum viable effort the clever hack that preserves your ambition? Or is it the most respectable looking form of surrender you can find? Is it the thing that saves you from quitting? Or is it just quitting and